Stranger Things Season 3 is a continuation of the saga of the kids from Hawkins, Indiana. At the end of Season 2, the kids had defeated the monster called the Mind Flayer, who had taken over the mind and body of the young Will Bayer, and 11 had closed off the interdimensional gate, thus defeating the monster and letting them live happily ever after. Or so we thought. Season 3 now takes place in the year 1985. The kids are a little bit older. They're hitting puberty. They are now in romantic relationships. And the Mind Flayer is reintroduced as the villain. But this time we also have Russian spies who are infiltrating the Hawkins, Indiana, just like Red Dawn style, hoping to reopen the dimension door and use the monsters from the other dimension and the Upside Down for their military benefit. Now, I'll start with what I really enjoyed about Season 3. I really like the fact that the season had a lot better flow to it this year than Season 2 did. There wasn't really no filler episodes. Each episode really moved the story along at a very brisk pace. None of the storylines seem extraneous. Of course, with a cast this large, you're gonna have to break the characters up into various groups and have your individual storylines, and for the most part they all worked for me. There was no like throwaway episode like there was in Season 2 when 11 went to go meet her sister in some other city, and that episode just really felt so out of place and was so jarring to the whole overall flow of the season. But Season 3 has no episode like that, so there is a really good flow from episode to episode. The first couple of episodes, they kind of focus on the kids and the puberty and the romance, and that was a bit much to me, to be honest. I really like these kids when they were younger and more innocent. They were more into playing and with toys, but now they're more about relationships, and they're kind of starting to talk back and being sassy to the adults, and I didn't really like seeing that, to be quite honest, but that's life, that's puberty, so I guess they're being realistic in that sense. There's a lot of action also in Season 3, and there's a real sense of danger throughout the action scenes. It never really felt too comical. The action felt real and the danger felt real. I also like the addition of Maya Hawke, who is a new character who works at the Scoops Ahoy ice cream shop with Steve. I didn't realize that after the show had ended that she is a daughter of Ethan Hawke and Uma Thurman, and when I see her face, I can definitely see the resemblance, and she did a great job. She brought humor, she brought intelligence, she brought sass to the role, and I thought she was really great and a great addition to the cast. And all the kids from the original cast, they're all great. I can't name a single one of them that I wouldn't mind seeing out of the cast. You can also see them growing as actors as well, and they'll continue to do a really good job. They also evolved Billy's character really well in Season 2. He was just a plain out dick, real asshole, and very, very not likable. And I know he wasn't supposed to be likable, but he had to have a reason to be there besides just to be a dick. And in Season 3, they really utilize him a lot better, and he plays a key role in the storyline of Season 3. So he really redeemed himself, or the writers did it anyway, to make his character matter a lot more and bring more depth to his character. Now, what I really didn't care for in Season 3 was the relationship between Hopper and Joyce. They kind of really explored the romantic element between them this season, and whenever it was them two on screen, they kind of did this whole Sam and Diane thing, and it just didn't really work. Hopper, I mean, he's always been this gruff, kind of tough guy, but man, he just was so over the top this season, and all of his arguments with Joyce, he was just so immature and just very cartoony, and the whole dynamic between the two, which was a very critical element to Season 3 storyline, it just didn't work as well for me as it should have. I also didn't like that for most of the season, the kids once again were separated. I love Dustin with Steve. I think it's a very magical combination, and Dustin, Steve, and the new character Robin played very well off of each other. But I really wish I could have seen Dustin more with the gang, because there is a great chemistry when all of the original kids are back together, and there really should have been a little bit more of that. Speaking of Steve, Robin, and Dustin, there is a new character. Well, not so new. She was also in Season 2, and she's Lucas's little sister. Now, in Season 2, she was hilarious. She had all these smart ass comments and just giving shit to everybody, and she was one of the better parts of season 2. But now they realized that, so they gave her a really bigger part in season 3, and she's the type of character that you take in small doses. You give her kind of free reign and you make her a major part of the cast, and it's just a bit much because she's very one level. It's very the same thing over and over again, just throwing out sassy joke, and you know what? You can only take so much of that. I mean, smart Alex are funny to a certain point, but when they just continue to joke, it gets really tired after a while. I also felt like the main storyline in season 3 with the Mind Flayer was kind of a repeat of season 2, and I think we can all agree that season 2 wasn't quite as good as season 1, and maybe the Duffer brothers, who are the writers and producers and sometimes directors of the series, maybe they felt, okay, we had this great monster in the Mind Flayer, but season 2 was kind of, you know, up and down, so let's really make it better and bring the Mind Flayer back in season 3 and show what we can really do with this villain. And in that sense, it was a success because the Mind Flayer was scarier this time around and a much better opponent for the kids, so that was great. But I think it would have been nice to introduce a new monster, a new horror element to it that we haven't seen already. So it felt a little repetitious at times because of that. But overall, season 3 is a big improvement over season 2. I was able to binge it over just 2.5 days because I wanted to see each episode one after the other. And you know, it was great binge watching. It flows really well. There's a lot of cute moments, there's a lot of funny moments, there's a lot of scary moments, and this cast just works so well together. Going forward, I do hope that they do go back and focus more on the original kids more and not so much rely on, you know, Joyce and Hopper and Nancy and Will's brother, I forget his name, sorry, but you know, kind of having all these separate storylines to focus on, it kind of distracts you a little bit, and I really wouldn't mind seeing the kids just back together, being the Goonie gang, you know. I know they're all too old now to ride around on bikes and play Dungeons and Dragons, and that's cool, but those kids and 11 are the key to this series, and I think the series will do better by just focusing on them in the future. But overall, I did enjoy season 3 a lot. I like the action, I like the humor, I like the horror elements, I like the drama. It did really flow really well and is a much improvement over season number 2, and I recommend watching it. So for me, Stranger Things season 3 gets an 8 out of 10. Thanks so much for watching. If you like my review, please give me a thumbs up. And if you have a comment about my review or about the show itself, please feel free to leave a comment below. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel, MC on Film, for more reviews in the future.